Oh, boy. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about here. So, and we're going to get into some of the other budget cuts and everything going on in the federal government. But right now, we are going to talk the big one right now that Trump and Elon Musk are looking into is Fort Knox. They want to audit Fort Knox. Now, Fort Knox is a army installation south of Louisville in Kentucky. And Fort Knox is used to house, the overwhelming majority of the United States official gold reserve, right? So the gold reserve is what makes our currency worth anything. Without the gold reserve to back it up, you might as well just go spend toilet paper, because the dollar that's pretty much what it is at that point, is toilet paper. So there has long been speculation about Fort Knox and whether or not there's actually any gold there. Now, these conspiracy theories range from, there's a wide variety of places that these range to, or that these conspiracies range to. One of them is that there's absolutely no gold there, which would be very, very bad. The fuck? It was my iPad was talking to me. Another one is that some of the gold is there and some of it's not. Another one is that they are leasing the gold out and they've just got paper certificates that say, hey, we owe you this money back. So there's a lot of issues there. So the last full audit of Fort Knox, the last time they actually went in there to make sure that the gold was there, was in 1953. 1953. Since then, there has been no independent audit of the Federal Reserve, of Fort Knox. None. Now, the U.S. Mint and the Treasury Department claim to conduct periodic inspections where they'll send one guy over there. He'll poke his head in the door and go, yep, looks good. It's all still there. But we've never had an actual independent audit that provided receipts to the American people. So naturally, when that's the case, there is some concern there. Now, there have been numerous calls for an audit of Fort Knox throughout the years. And the U.S. government has been very, very resistant to these causes. Now, mind you, these are the people at the U.S. government that always tell us that if we have nothing to hide, we have nothing to worry about. Well, that's either bullshit or a two-way street. So which one is it? You've also got historical precedents for missing gold. You've had cases where governments have either overstated their gold reserves or just outright lied about it, like in the Soviet Union and Venezuela. Even the Federal Reserve has issues adding up its gold amounts, its gold holdings, right? So there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of concerns there.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are these like gold bars that are just sitting there like the bars you can buy at Costco?
Correct, yes.
So it's just a bunch of gold bars.
That's what backs our currency up, yes. Yeah, why?
So is it like Harry Potter when he goes into his vault and it's just filled with gold?
I mean, it's a little bit more secure than that, but yeah, more or less. That's what backs our currency up. It's not all in one place, but the majority. That's why they say it's locked up like Fort Knox, because it's good luck getting there. It'd probably be easier to get to Area 51.
How can gold back up the currency when it's in bills, when it's in paper?
Well, because currency's not worth anything. Currency's just paper. It has to be backed up by something that's actually worth something. So we have gold to back it up. So if there were no gold that backed our currency up, the dollar would become basically worthless, right? It would basically, because it's not backed up by anything. It's basically just an IOU. That's really all the dollar is an IOU for gold. It's supposed to be backed up, and its entire value is dependent upon the federal government telling us the truth about our gold reserves. So here's another reason to be concerned. We have an article from February 15th that came out. As soon as these calls to audit Fort Knox started popping up, U.S. banks started buying gold out of the Bank of England. You've got 8,000 gold bars in the last few months have been purchased from the Bank of England and shipped over to the United States. So now this means that the banks have got some concerns. The banks are sitting there going, holy shit, if there's a good chance they audit this and what they find is not what they've been telling people. And we need to make sure that we have secured our reserves to minimize damages from a total meltdown. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but right now might be a good time to buy gold. That's all I'm going to say. But talk to your financial advisor first. Never, ever take advice from this show unless we're telling you to spend $50,000 on a psychic for dating advice. That's the only time you should listen to us here at That Space for financial advice, right? So this is a risk. They're playing with fire here with this Fort Knox thing. They really are. But it's a catch-22 because it absolutely needs to be done. Because here's what happens. Let's role play for a second here. Let's pretend, just for argument's sake, that the audit team, whether it's Elon Musk or whoever, goes down to Fort Knox and they open those doors up and they go, oh my God, it's all gone. It's been stolen. It was never there. Who knows? But they lied. It's all gone. The U.S. dollar collapses. So while it's not directly backed by gold, gold reserves are very, very much a substantial part of the economic stability in the U.S. financial system. If the largest gold reserve we have is missing, the dollar goes down the drain. The dollar goes down the drain. The stock market, your retirement accounts go to shit. You see a run on the banks. Everybody freaks out and tries to get all their money out. The banks go under. You have massive, large-scale investigations. Who stole the money? When did they take it? Or the gold, excuse me. How much did they take? Where did it go? Where is it now? I mean, you've got congressional hearings. You've got the FBI going door to door, ripping politicians out of their homes. We basically become a banana republic, third world country. But it's not just the U.S., it's worldwide. Like, there's other countries around the world that hold gold reserves in U.S. vaults, such as the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So those countries are all of a sudden going to go, hold on a second, you lied about Fort Knox. What else are you lying about? I want my shit now. I'm cashing out today. And you better hope to God that's there. Otherwise, that national debt triples because we just fucked a whole bunch of other countries over. There's also, like I said, other groups like the Federal Reserve and other banks that their gold reserve gets put into question now. So gold's going to skyrocket. Total economic collapse worldwide that would honestly make the Great Depression look like a time of prosperity. Mass arrests. And the U.S. as we know it would, the financial system would never be the same. I mean, there's no way to overstate what would happen if they opened those doors up and revealed to the world that there's nothing in there. And it wouldn't be Trump's fault, but he'd be the one who gets the blame for it. He wouldn't get the blame for that. He would be the one who gets the blame for the crisis that followed. And there's no way. Listen, I don't give a shit who's the president. Unless it's Jesus Christ, there's no way to navigate that. Like that's total global meltdown. But the other problem is, if there is nothing in there, or if there's less in there than what they've told us, the only way to fix this problem is to fix it now, because the longer you let it go on, the worse it's going to get. It's like if you think it's like, say you've been with your girlfriend for 5 years and you're thinking about asking her to marry you, but you're a little suspicious that she might be cheating on you, right? So you follow her, or you're sitting there one night, you're like, do I follow her? You know, she keeps telling me she's working late or going to the gym or whatever. I don't think I trust her. So you make the decision to follow her. And you see that she's meeting up with this guy. Now, That is an immediate collapse of your entire world. Everything around you is falling apart. You were blissfully ignorant up until now. You could have stayed blissfully ignorant and gotten fucked over way down the line once, after I do and a couple of kids, and gotten screwed over in a whole different way that was way worse. Or you can rip the bandage off now and yeah, it's going to suck. Yeah, it's going to hurt. Yeah, it might destroy your whole world, but at least the lie is up. I mean, so there's no good way to do this. So if you never check, you can live in blissful ignorance, but the problem still exists, and the longer you wait, it's a ticking time bomb that's eventually going to explode in your face, and the longer you wait, it's going to be worse. If you audit it and if you follow her and you find out she really was working late, then great. You can trust her. Go ahead and ask her to marry you. Maybe you follow her and you find out that she wasn't seeing another guy, but she also wasn't going to work. She was going to sell drugs. Well, that's not the same as cheating on you, but you're certainly going to have an awkward conversation now, aren't you? Those are basically the three options. They audit it, there's nothing there. They audit it and they've told the truth. They audit it and maybe they've stretched the truth a little bit. Now, make no mistake, if we find that they stretch the truth, that's also going to be an issue. Not to the same level of what I just described. That's absolute worst case scenario. But that'll also be an issue. The real problem that you and I have to deal with is not where did the gold go? That's up to the feds, right? The problem that we would have to deal with is what the hell happens to us next. So they're playing with fire, pushing this thing. And when I see Elon Musk tweeting out memes about the gold being gone and stuff like that, that's not helping things. Absolutely go audit it. We have to do it. As risky as it is, it needs to be done. I'm pro-auditing Fort Knox the same way I'm pro-auditing the Federal Reserve. But don't sit there and tweet memes where a guy's looking around saying it's gone with the caption, the gold at Fort Knox, because, I mean, shit like that has the potential to tank the stock market. That's stupid. Don't do that. You're going to cause national panic. Go in there, audit it. Let's hope everything's still there. If it's not, we're going to have to cross that bridge. But it's something that needs to be nipped in the bud, because if it's not, it's only going to get worse. What do you think? Do you think there's gold inside Fort Knox?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think they sold us down the river? I sure hope not. That would suck. I'm not going to lie. That would really suck. Like I said, guys, when I say economic crisis, I'm not talking what we saw with COVID 5 years ago. I'm not even talking the '08 housing crisis, right? I'm not even talking the Great Depression. I'm talking the worst in human history. I'm talking people hunting stray dogs in the streets for food. That fucking bad if they open it up and there's no gold in Fort Knox. I want to explain the gravity of the situation to you guys before they do it. So you can either shove it under the rug that your girlfriend's sneaking around behind your back and just not think about it. And, as long as she doesn't bring that other guy around here, I'm just going to live blissfully ignorant. Or you can follow her when she tells you she's working late. It's up to you. I would personally like to know the truth and have to navigate it from there. That's just me. I could. What, do you want them to audit it? Do you want to know? Mia, do you want to know if they...
I mean, I don't know.
I think you have to.
Now you're giving me really bad anxiety.
You have to know. I explained the gravity of the situation, and here's the thing. That's such a bad situation that I just described, and it's absolutely scary. It makes me a little anxious. I'm not going to lie. But that type of crime requires a swift, angry, vicious punishment. I mean, I'm talking when you find who you think stole this shit, you try them, and after they're found guilty, you hang every last one of them in the streets. That's the only way to solve that. That's the only way that you get a permanent resolution on that problem, is after trial, you hang every last one of the people responsible for it. And that may sound aggressive, that may sound harsh or over the top, but it's the reality there. That's how you deal with that. You have to send the message that that doesn't happen again. That at that point is a crime against humanity. I mean, you're right up there with Hitler and Stalin if you get found stealing that, because of just the pure destruction of lives that your actions caused. So I don't know. Hopefully everything turns out all right. They're playing with fire. If they audit it and there's nothing there and it causes economic chaos, I think it goes without saying you're going to have a Democrat president 4 years from now. So they have to consider that as well. I don't think that's not, the election's not going to be what's on our mind. Maybe we'll be like Ukraine and just not have them anymore. Who knows? Anyway, that's been our lead topic. Stay tuned. We got Store Brand TMZ coming up next.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.